last short story that I'm going to read in this location at this same time and then split up into different videos where I read short stories from the past and my past lives and everything like that. If you haven't seen the previous videos, there's 3 of them. This is short story 14. I believe this one was in between high school and college. There's a bug on my screen. This one is called Henry Thomas Murphy, and as opposed to the other 3 that I've already read, this one is a serious one. It's also a bit of a long one. This one literally started out as nothing more than backstory to a horror story that I was writing. I think I was going to make it a full novel, a horror novel, and this was going to be backstory that I was going to pull from to put into newspaper clippings and things that they would find that the main characters would piece together as the backstory of how the cabin that they were at came to be the way that it was, which was like a cabin that opened up into a twisted amusement park that they were forced to go through like lab rats. It was a cool idea, but I was not doing the concept justice. But I do have that unfinished horror story, so if we ever want to come back to that and read that one. Journal entry 1, May 8th, 1959. Hello journal, my name is Henry Thomas Murphy and I'm 9 years old, but I'm about to be 10. My mother gave me you so I could write down in you all the things that happened in my life. She said I would want to remember when I grew up. All the things I did when I wasn't grown up. All my dreams and aspirations, whatever that means. So I'm going to keep track from now on, and I'm going to do it every day, forever and ever. That's all I can think to write down for now, journal. I'll see if anything fun happens tomorrow. Journal entry 2, May 9th, 1959. Hi journal, I'm back. Peter played a joke on me today. Mama said it wasn't very nice, but he called me a snitch for telling. Peter is only 2 years older than me, but he's bigger than me. It's not fair that I had to be so small and Peter gets to be so big, but Mama says I'll catch up someday. I wonder if I'll ever get to be the older brother instead of Peter. Journal entry 3, May 10th, 1959. Today Mom said we may be getting a television set. I've wanted one for so long, and now with Daddy's new job, we might have enough money to get one. I'm not mad at Peter anymore. I can never stay mad at Peter for long. He's normally really cool. He wants to be a scientist when he grows up. That's all. That's about all for today, journal. Journal entry 4, May 11th, 1959. Nothing really happened today, journal. Not much to tell you. Maybe I won't write in you every single day. Maybe just when cool stuff happens. Journal entry 5, May 23rd, 1959. We got the television. Dad brought it home as a surprise. It's still not as big as my friend Tommy's, but it's still cool. I think all my friends' families had one but us. Now we have one. Tomorrow is my birthday, so I will write in you then, journal. Journal entry 6, May 24th, 1959. I can't believe it, journal. Peter gave me a bike. He saved up some money and then Mom and Dad helped a little and he got me a bike for my birthday. He's the best big brother ever. They made me a cake too, but Pluto, our dog, ate it up and then threw it up in the backyard. It was gross, but it was still the best day of my life. Journal entry 7, May 26th, 1959. I tried to read my bike today, journal. At first I couldn't do it. It was really hard to stay up. And I fell and scraped my knee. It hurt and I almost cried, but Peter helped me clean the scrapes and told me he would help me ride. I didn't want to get back on, but he told me about the time he hurt himself on his bike, and he said he got on and learned to ride just fine. So I got back on and he taught me to ride without falling over. Now I can keep up with him when he rides around the neighborhood with the guys. Summer is gonna be great fun now that me and Peter can hang out. Journal entry 7, June 17th, 1959. Hi journal, it's been a while because I didn't have anything to write about, but now I have something important to tell you. I have a secret. I kissed Rosie Baker on the cheek, down by the lake. She blushed. Blushed? Blessed. She blushed. She blushed. I think she likes me. Shh, don't tell anyone, journal, it's a secret. I guess that's kind of funny since you can't talk. I think me and Rosie are gonna get married someday. It's fun to have a secret, especially when you have someone to tell it to, even if that someone is just a book. I don't think Peter has kissed a girl. I bet I beat him to it. Ha! Who's the big brother now? He's only 1 year older than me now that I turned 10 and he's still only 11. I think I'm catching up to him. School let out for the summer and I'm going to summer camp on Monday, so I probably won't write in you until after. September 16th, 1968. Well, hello there, journal. It's sure been a while since I wrote in your dusty pages. It's been 9 years. I almost feel the need to apologize for forgetting about you. Reading the few entries I wrote as a kid made me chuckle. My childlike logic left some things to be desired, and my spelling was simply creative. Especially when I spelled the word especially. Mom was right about the nostalgic purpose of writing down my life history in a book. I only wish I had written more in it. You. I don't know why I wrote to you as an actual entity, but I suppose I'll continue to do that. So, journal, I now have 9 years of life experience to catch you up on. First off, about misplacing you. If you'll recall from my last entry, I had just left for summer camp of 59. My, how time flies. For whatever reason, the thought of taking you with me to record what happens at summer camp never even crossed my mind. And so, out of sight, out of mind, as they say, you somehow ended up in the closet. And if you've ever seen my closet, which you haven't, because you don't have eyes, you would know that what goes in the closet usually doesn't come out. For a while. The reason I stumbled upon you stuffed in the corner is that I'm moving out. Peter and I are moving up north to Washington State because Peter got a job offer at a lab up there. His dream of being a scientist is finally being realized. Through the years, he's been my best friend, and I've never had many. I'm not ready to let him just up and leave without me. I can't find work in our small town anyways. I'm getting restless without something to do. I never really knew what I wanted to do with my life when I was a kid. Peter was the one with the plan. So I'm just gonna see what Washington could do for me. Oh yeah, remember Rosie? We're still sweethearts. We aren't gonna let the long distance get between us. Figuratively, of course, since there will be literal distance between us. Well, that's all for now, Journal. I just found you in the closet, and writing in you has taken valuable packing time. The next time I write, I'll be living in Washington State, September 20th, 1968. We've arrived! Okanagan. Okanagan County was here waiting for us. Not literally, of course, but in the poetic sense. Peter went in today to see the lab and get acquainted with some of the new fellow colleagues. I spent the day unpacking some of my things in our new living space. We made a deal that he would pay my half of the rent until I found work, as long as I started looking as soon as we got here. So I'm heading around town to see what I can find. I already miss home. I mean, when you grow up in one small town for your entire life, it's not easy to leave, but in the end, I know it'll be good for me to get used to not living at home. It has to happen eventually, and I'd rather sooner than later if it meant I get to stay with my brother. Plus, I wasn't ever going to be able to marry Rosie if I didn't start making a living. We will see what the future holds. I'm not that picky about what kind of job I find, and I suspect I won't be the best work since I'm not that smart and I don't have any specific skills, and the only thing I really have going for me is my muscle. But that's okay, because hard labor work is my favorite kind anyway. Oh yeah, my childhood dream of getting bigger than Peter did actually happen. Though, no, I didn't ever actually catch up to him in age. I'm gonna go down, Journal, because I have a letter to write to my dear Rosie back home. September 22nd, 1968. Well, it didn't take nearly as long to find work as I thought it would. Went looking this afternoon and found out the mining company down at the edge of the county has been looking to hire new young men with plenty of brawn. That's me. They pretty much hired me on sight, and that was that. The occupation of mining doesn't come with much esteem these days, but I couldn't care less. It's not like I have a reputation to protect. And it pays splendidly. I'll be starting work in a couple of days at the start of a new week. Journal, you're hearing from the newest employee of the unacclaimed coal mine. Peter is getting along just dandy at his new position. I couldn't be happier for him. You should see him coming and going each day on the top of the world. He's learned a whole lot from this apprenticeship, and of course he shares all of the knowledge with me. I don't understand half of what he's saying, but the parts I do are pretty interesting, even for a blockhead like me. He says he's been studying most all of the different branches of science, but he prefers psychology out of the bunch. Working with the brain, why those squishy pink blobs in our heads do what they do. I'll get back to you when I've started work on Monday. I'll tell you how I feel about it, not knowing exactly what to expect, to be honest. September 26th, 1968. Today's the day. Technically, today was the day, since I'm writing this at night. The issue with making the protagonist a dumb character is that my writing style tends to be pretty wordy and vocabulary heavy. He's using a lot of words. This is also quite a long short story. I may have to break this up into bits. I'll read another page and then break it into thirds. September 29th, 1968. Feeling a bit homesick, Journal. After settling in, it started to hit me. I sure do miss Rosie and my family and friends back home. I keep in contact with them, of course, but it's not nearly the same as seeing them. I asked Peter what he thought of returning to visit home. He said we haven't been here long enough to have a vacation yet. I see his point, but I'll keep bringing it up every once in a while. Maybe next month he'll allow that we can go home for a short time. Speaking of Peter, he's getting along wonderfully at the lab where he works. In fact, they've let him in on a secret project they've been working on for a while. It's so top secret, he won't even tell me what it is. But he says it will change the world if it's completed. He told me it's a new technology, but he's not working on the technology part, he's just testing it. With test participants, recording how the volunteers use and respond to the new technology. It'll be a success, I'm sure of it, because they have Peter working on it, and Peter can figure out a solution to any problem, if there is one to be had. September 30th, 1968. I saw Peter with a lady friend today. I thought it was worth writing down because of how out of the ordinary this really is. You may not really understand how odd it is, Journal, but let me just say, it is a rare occurrence. In fact, I think I've only ever seen him with one girl back home, and that was only for a summer. Peter hasn't thought about any romantic interests in years. He's the kind of guy who is single-minded and only concentrated on work. So seeing him with a lady, and acting quite friendly with her, I must say, is a very odd image indeed. See, he's talking so smart. I suppose it had to happen eventually. I just hope it lasts. They did look adorable together. I couldn't hear what they were saying, but Peter looked very awkward and out of sorts while trying to be charming. I think the lady could see underneath and could tell how kind-hearted he really is. I hope he introduces me soon. October 4th, 1968. I asked Peter again about taking a trip home. He said wait till Christmas because it would be easier for both of us to get time off on the trip. I thought that was sound logic and decided I would stop pestering him about it till then. Then I brought up the young lady I had seen with him a couple of times, and he actually blushed a little. He said her name was Catherine, and I shouldn't be so nosy. I told him he'd better introduce me, or I'll up and introduce myself. It's getting just a bit cold out, Journal. The weather is staying pretty nice though, and I still haven't had to bundle up much yet. I hope the good weather holds out a little longer, at least until after Christmas. I can't wait to go home. Speaking of going home, remember when I was a kid and I was all excited that I had a secret, and the secret was about kissing Rosie? For the first time. Well, I have another secret about Rosie now, and I think I'm even more excited about this one. I snatched a little of my savings, and I bought a ring. Christmas this year will come with an extra special. Christmas this year will come with an extra special gift, and an extra special question for Rosie. October 5th, 1968. Peter finally introduced me to his grown-up crush, introducing Catherine White, Bachelor of Science in Chemistry. I think that means she's studying to become a chemist. See, I know things. She has witty humor and social grace, while he has intelligence but lacks charm. I think that they have, wait for it, great chemistry together. October 7th, 1968. Peter told me just a little about the stuff he's been doing at the lab. He says head supervisor is Mr. Johnson. I met him once. He has a very commanding presence. Mr. Johnson gives volunteers these situations, then monitors how they use the new technology, Peter has mentioned before, to complete the task. He still can't tell me anything specific because it's still top secret, but he is very adamant that this is the wave of the future and that testing is going to go well. He is also now involved with a project involving the mining company to improve the transportation system in the mine, and working conditions, etc. May take a while to get anything done. The mining company isn't moving particularly fast on it, since it will require them to spend money to do so, but Kat is helping on the project because she's a chemist, and says it could potentially get dangerous if the conditions continue to stay the way they are when the weather gets cold. Although a warm spell has hit us, warm for October that is, I know with her and Peter working on it, things will get done eventually. They won't rest easy whilst the project remains unfinished. Whilst? I'm gonna end the first third here, all the setup to the juicy bits of the story that will end up bringing the drama first and forefront. So thank you for reading with me, and I will read with you again at an undisclosed future date.